Ron McDowell. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Ron, what's happening here?
Well, I have to say, first off, that I got this wrong. The last time that we had discussed the £1.9 million underspend going for Irish language signage, I said there was only one place where they can take that, and that's out of people's rates. Well, it goes to show this morning that there is other places that they can take it, and they can take it out of 50,000 people's pockets that were helped with a hardship fund last year. We have rightly discussed a lot, and says maybe you're sitting at home wrapped up out of the cold. Well, there's people sitting at home wondering how they're going to be putting on their heating. Can they afford heating, or can they afford food? Are they going to make them choices? And we have taken away a means that we had within Belfast City Council to help these people, and that's very, very disappointing that it has came to this. And this is the reality of these vanity projects that we're seeing coming through his council at the minute, is that it might be partisan and it might be divisive, but ultimately it's the person in the street that pays for this. It's the person who are responsible for where they spend their money. Belfast City councillors approved a 6% rates hike last year because they said they didn't have enough money to go around. 2 years ago, they had an 8% rates hike. Now, the SDLP are well known for their social democratic and Labour principles, and it was John Hume himself who said, you can't eat a flag. He said you can't eat a flag, and that was talking about to discourage purely symbolic actions or emotional actions. And here we are today, that people can't eat an Irish street sign, which was a purely symbolic action in the city, an emotional action based on extreme form of nationalism. And again, it's the people that are going to suffer for it. We're going to swap helping people with hardship funds in their home to put dual language signage in Belfast Zoo. The ongoing costs of this, the initial £1.9 million came from the underspend, but the ongoing costs that there will be associated with this are coming directly out of ratepayers' pockets, and Seamus is being dishonest with ratepayers if he wants to continue down that line. The last time we increased the rates in Belfast City Council, Ryan Murphy had said that we will strive to make our services more efficient and financially sustainable wherever that is possible, and we're not doing that. We're running with vanity.
Well, Ron, you voted for that increase. So clearly you believed that at the time.
No. If you attended your meetings, as you have accused me of, Seamus, you would have known that I didn't vote for the increase.
It was unanimously agreed.
It was not. People before profit didn't vote for it either. So you're doing a disservice there to both of us.
You voted for the acceptance of the committee minutes, and that's the acceptance of the rates. You voted for it.
Unfortunately, we did not. Now, you have to own this. The council made a choice.
I think you should own your vote too. You voted for it.
Belfast City Council had a choice before it where it wanted to spend this £1.9 million underspend.
But there was a 2.94 underspend in July, so there was other money too. What was this spent on, Seamus?
Of responsibility in this, Seamus. The council had a decision to make. There are all levels of scrutiny of spending within Belfast City Council. We've had a cutback on Christmas lights in recent years.
That's not true. Actually, we've been talking about that because we understand that it brings in support for businesses and creates jobs.
We've been talking about £40,000 on pumpkins. We've been talking about £15,000 on Lord Mayor's portraits. So the scrutiny of expenditure seems to go unchecked in Belfast City Council. And when we're spending £1.9 million on one of your vanity projects, which actually flies in the face of the core historical SDLP position of you can't eat a flag, then the difficulty in all of this is that Belfast City Council made a choice. We own this. This is a Belfast City Council choice to allocate this money in spite of 50,000 struggling residents sitting at home who perhaps can't heat their house this morning.
Is it just a coincidence that whenever there's the slightest hint of funding going towards anything to do with Irishness, nationalness, that the DUP and the TUV can always find another reason for that money to go in a different direction to some other hardship fund or some needful thing for society? There's not the same outcry whenever the DUP and TUV, whenever there's funding going to bands, festivals of orange festivals, bonfire, things like this. There's not that same. It seems to be just that anything to do with Irishness, nationalist sort of projects, that there's a cry of a foul. They're neglecting the poor and the impoverished. Not the same outcry, or is it just naked sectarianism?
Ron McDowell?
So Belfast City Council have been sponsoring the Fleadh Ceoil to the tune of millions of pounds to bring it to Belfast next year. They've also been sponsoring the West Belfast Fleadh for many years, and whilst we have issues around it, that money has been flowing into West Belfast around cultural issues there for a long time unchallenged. What we're talking about here is good governance, and the decisions we make, we can't abdicate it and say that this isn't to do with Belfast City Council. This is a Stormont issue. Belfast City Council owns this. Of the £1.9 million that went to the Irish language policy, yes, I'll let you back in 1 minute. In the same fund, there was £500,000 went to newcomers coming into Belfast. I would have a look at that as well and say, can that money be applied to everyone?
What's newcomers? What's that mean?
Well, it means new people coming into the city, £500,000 to help them integrate into the city in some way.
In direct response to the fact that the city experienced racist riots last summer and racist violence again this summer, all of which has been stoked by the type of anti-immigration rhetoric that we've heard from some unionist politicians.
So let us treat everybody in the city the same. Let's treat everybody the same and say there's £500,000. Can we look at improving everybody who has experienced hardship and not just some people? So this isn't an anti-green issue.
Well, actually,
it's a good governance issue. And there's a chap on the
not everybody, Ron McDowell, gets burnt out of their homes, or people stopping them in the street and asking them for identification, or people counting how many people are living in their houses, or people being racist and trying to drive them out of feeling comfortable here. Not everybody experiences that. So are you saying there should be no money pumped into helping those integrate into Northern Ireland?
No, I'm saying that the money should be spent on everybody equally. That the £500,000 should be spent where there is a need in Belfast. If individuals find themselves in hardships, it's called a hardship fund. You identify the individuals who are most at need, and you put a balm to the sore, and you try and help these people. And that's what we should be doing.
There we go. I think
because unfortunately what we have on the radio this morning is cheap shots being fired at unionism, because nationalism has made bad governmental decisions that are being felt by people on the street. People are being impacted by council's choices. We're making a choice. And even to try and fire it back against areas like Fernhill House. Fernhill House is an asset owned by Belfast City Council, who have a responsibility to maintain their assets. It's like saying stop spending money on Belfast City Council, or Belfast City Hall rather. We have a responsibility to allocate money. What we're saying is, do we really need a zookeeper clearing out a cage at Belfast Zoo wearing a bilingual T-shirt when people are having to make choices between fueling their heating in the house or food?